Okay, welcome to another Orbiter 2010 video, and in this video we're going to probably finish up our flight from Venus over to Earth, completing a challenge that was made by originally made by flytandem and slightly augmented and perfected by Dimitris. And by doing this challenge, we're just kind of showing that kind of how to combine IMFD with TransX to get the best results here for this type of mission, because you can't always use IMFD and you can't always use just TransX. In fact, TransX is kind of lousy when it comes to the fine tuning of your burns, and IMFD is really good at that. But IMFD isn't so good at some of the advanced planning that you can do with TransX. So in the last video, we did our burn to bring our orbit down close to the periapsis at Venus, and now we're going to pick up from that point, go forward, and then do our mid-course corrections and so forth to get over to Earth. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn my webcam. The webcam's back off because in this flight, there's data that's on the left side and on the right side that's blocked. So let me turn the cams off so those aren't in the way. And Dimitri, what do we need to do to go forward?
Well, basically right now we have to drop closer to periapsis at Venus, and when we're about 2000 seconds away from the periapsis, we're going to start setting up the burn to get to Earth with this time with the IMFD, because it's going to be much more accurate. And we have to keep in mind the delta V that we have left, so any kind of burn that we set up cannot exceed that delta V budget, and we're going to need a little bit for corrections from that budget.
As I'm putting in a little bit of time warp here, just at 100, I'm actually noticing that the relative inclination is going up a bit. Should we consider bringing it all the way to 0 and then going the other way with it?
Push the node a little bit on the direction that we're moving.
Okay, so a little bit ahead.
Are we moving in that direction or the other? Because we're going around Venus, so we're retrograde.
That's a good question.
You can open up Orbit MFD and see if the if the inclination is more than, it's 175.5. So we're going in the opposite direction that we're going usually.
Okay.
So from where we are right now, we are going to the right, let's say. So by pushing the ejector orientation towards that side, you can see if the relative inclination drops or goes up. I can see it dropping over here.
Yeah.
So don't go all the way down because it's going to cost more, but somewhere right there, wait for the spacecraft to get there and make a small linear RCS burn to take care of some of it.
Okay, so let's go forward to that point. Yeah, we are moving in that direction. Okay, and now it's back to 0.03, so if we bump the translation, in this case it's going to be up.
Translation.
And what do we want, about 0.01? I think you might have hit the mute button.
Sorry. Okay, I think we're pretty good. Just keep dropping. Also, push a little bit the ejector orientation again, the line of nodes. And now go to that.
Yeah.
Point.
Okay, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll bump the translation up. Now we'll push it forward again. About there. I'll go forward to that point. Of course, it gets closer to your position as you go forward. And cut it in half again, about like that.
I think perhaps one more correction and then we're done. You're not going to have to.
Yeah.
Even if it does leave a little bit of relative inclination, we're going to take care of the rest with the burn to Earth with IMFD.
Okay, and there we have it. So now we want to go forward until we're, what, about 2,000 seconds away from
Yeah,
PET?
we're looking at the time to periapsis from on the right side to
Yeah.
uh,
Bring
on
interplanetary up.
transects. Yeah, and we can go all the way to 2000, 1500, and we'll still have plenty of time to set up the burn.
Yeah, notice our velocities increased. We were just at 1,600 and now we're already at 6,600. And by the time we get to periapsis, it's going to be, significantly higher than that even. So we're gaining a lot of speed as we drop down toward Venus. Let me take a quick look outside, see just how close we're getting. Yeah. Okay, so now we want to set up. Do we want to use target intercept first, or?
Well, if you're going to set up the delta velocity and map programs, especially the delta velocity program, you're starting out, let's say, blind. You don't know how to set up the variables, so you need a guide for that. Either you're going to use the variables from transx, what you're seeing right now, or you can set up a burn with IMFD. I think the IMFD method is better because you can also find a trajectory that agrees with the relative inclination, let's say. I
Yeah,
will show you what I mean in a sec.
yeah. Let's use IMFD because I think the people that are watching these videos are very interested in learning as much about IMFD as they can.
Okay, hit the menu on both sides and stop sharing if anything is shared.
Okay. So they're both unshared.
Okay, so on one side, go to the course program and select target, change this as you want target intercept program. And select Venus and Earth as your target and enter the intercept date of the one that is the encounter date in transx.
The encounter date in transx. So I need to bring transx back up. And we want. Do we want the PEMJD or do you use the?
Yeah, just the date. You don't have to also use the decimals.
Okay, so
We're going to adjust that.
52067 is the encounter date.
Okay, so back to IMFD. Share from the right side and open up the orbit eject program.
Okay, let me think about it. So share the right side with the left side.
You hit the menu on the left side and you share it. You share the trajectory data from the right side.
Okay.
Okay. And now if you hit the orbit eject, not the map, the orbit eject.
Okay. And then we want to.
What we're doing right now is we're setting up a guide in order to be able to set later the delta velocity program. Now we are already sharing from the course, but as you can see, the time to ejection is completely off. It's 200,000 seconds away from now,
Yeah.
but we're arriving at periapsis very close to now. So you need to adjust that to be close to periapsis.
And it's like 1500.
Okay. Now, do you see the EIN value over there? That's the relative inclination that the green trajectory has relative to the blue trajectory on the left side, what we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
The green trajectory, the actual trajectory, is 0.85 degrees off plane relative to the blue trajectory, the hypothetical trajectory that is going to take us away from Venus. So we can adjust that a little bit by changing the date of arrival at Earth on the right side.
Okay, so we want
So
to change
you're
the
changing
TIN.
that, yeah, at 1x, and you're looking at the IEIN value on the left side. And you want to get it as close to 0. Actually, you want to get it exactly at 0.
Okay, well, 0.06 is as low as we're getting with the MJDs, but can we adjust the TIN to bring it
Yeah.
down even more?
Exactly, at TIN, but when you're at TIN, be at 10x.
Okay, And that's coming down. And there we have negative 0, 0, 0.
Okay, and now all you need to do is a slight adjustment of the time to eject on the left side until you get the absolute minimum delta V.
Okay, so on the left now, we're just going to probably bring the time down because well, actually we're in a retrograde orbit, so maybe we'll go forward.
Well, you're over here, and the burn is over here. So yeah, like you said, forward. And you're looking at the delta V over here until you get the minimum. Oops, sorry, I'm moving the mouse and
Oh, that's all right.
I'm
I'm
thinking,
actually wondering though
yeah.
why it's not getting lower though as I'm getting close. Well, maybe it will if I. I would think it would be absolute lowest at periapsis, but it's not.
No, it's absolutely lowest at the perforated line. You have passed it. Do you see the line?
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, and why is that?
This,
Because when we're at periapsis, we're traveling as fast as we can. So that's
yeah,
the.
this means that when we made the retrograde burn, when we were at the apoapsis of this orbit, we should have waited just a little bit more.
Okay.
This is why I got this difference. But the difference is too small, perhaps 1-2 meters per second. We're talking about this kind of difference
Yeah.
for the burn, so it doesn't really matter, and it's extremely difficult to nail it exactly at the periapsis.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So if we had done the burn just 2 minutes later or something, then we would
Hmm.
be arriving more at
Yeah.
periapsis at time to do the burn. Okay, so well, that's
So what you can auto burn this if you want. There's no problem in that. But we always try and solve the more advanced way
yeah.
to perform the burns, which is by using the delta velocity program. So what we did now was to set up our guide. Okay, this we're going to use this burn as our guide in 1,352 seconds, a 653 meters per second burn. And you can see that almost all of it is prograde because we are not using any plane change. Your relative inclination is exactly at 0.
Right.
So hit manual both sides and see which side is shared and stop sharing that side.
Okay, the left side is shared, so we'll stop sharing on the left side.
Okay, so on the right side we have the burn. So it's going to be on the orbit eject program.
So on the right side, we want to go to.
On the right side, we did not lose anything that we had already set up, and we were looking at the orbit eject program. What we need to look at is the orbit eject program, sorry. If on
Oh,
the left side,
yeah.
you just lost that one.
Ugh.
But
I.
on the right side, you still have it.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's.
This
I'll
is
get
on
used
the
to it
right
one of
side
these
is
days.
well, yeah, it's a little bit tricky until you get use it. But remember, the side that
It's
is
not
not shared
shared. Right.
is the one that has all the data.
Okay.
Okay,
So now
so
on the left side, we want the delta V program.
exactly.
And okay. And neither side's shared right now. So
Hmm.
okay. And the idea then is to basically copy the plan from orbit eject into the delta V. So we're going to set the TEJ at that number and set the prograde. I'm not sure if you're muted again or not, but
No, I can hear you. I'd say set all the prograde 653.
okay, just put it all on prograde.
Yeah, we're going to have to adjust it anyway.
Okay,
Okay, so the right side right now, you're done with it. It's useless. So you can share it with the left side and open up the map
okay. And
and see
press all
where
the
this burn is
buttons.
going to tell you. Well, first set the reference and the target.
Okay, reference in this case is going to be Sun
Yes.
and target Earth.
Mhm.
Okay, shut off auto zoom, turn on display, turn on SOI, turn on the plan, and then select to Earth. So this
Perfect.
burn would take us within that number, and we want that to be 0.
Yeah.
All right.
0 or even negative go to the center of the Earth.
Yeah, at least 0, but yeah,
Mhm.
like going to Mars, negative
Mhm.
3,000 or something would be ideal.
Okay. And you always start with a time.
Okay, start with time, and that's going the wrong way, so let's go backwards. That's helping a lot because we're all the way, we've cut it in half already. Okay, and then once you reach the low point with the time, you want to kind of keep going, right?
It depends how close the low point is, but
Okay.
this got pretty well.
Yeah, actually, just by taking time out, we're going to be in the middle of the Earth. Oh, there we go. Didn't even have to adjust
Perfect.
anything else. Let's see what one more click does. Negative 3. Yep. So negative 3,000 is the...
There is no need to try to get it even lower than that.
Yeah, that's
It's
perfect.
halfway from the surface and the center of the Earth.
Okay. So, and there's no additional refinement then that we need to do with any of the other variables because we're we brought the EIN down, so we already know that that we're in plane at that point, right? Or at the
The
point of the
problem is
burn.
that you can see already that the periapse altitude is jumping around and it's changing pretty fast.
Yeah.
And this is something that always happens with IMFD and Venus to Earth journeys. The prediction that you get in the map program, I'm not sure exactly what the reason is, but it's not very accurate. I suspect that it is because Venus is pretty heavy and you're moving at a slow speed relative to Venus for quite some time of the journey. You will see until you get from here all the way to here, you have Venus pretty close behind you. So you're in a sense you are escaping the gravity well of Venus pretty slowly. And this tags you in a little bit, so it's changing the prediction of IMFD. At least that's what I think, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've actually seen this PEA not holding real steady on a couple of other flights that I did. I think it was the Mars to Earth flight, and I just assumed it was because of Earth's moon.
It really depends on what kind of bodies does the IMFD use at that time for the prediction. You can see right now it uses 4 plus 7. Well, one of those is us.
Yeah.
The other three are the Sun, the Sun, the Venus, and Earth. So we have 4 right now, yeah. And then it uses another 7 for the prediction of this trajectory.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you can change a little bit the legs per frame, change a little bit the configuration of the map, and perhaps you can get a little bit more steady. In this case, perhaps you can try setting the adaptive to yes, and see if that makes any difference. But I'm going to be honest, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I have found one setup that uh, works 99% of the time, and then I just have to accept that on some cases it doesn't work very well.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit yesterday, where you don't want to have to go and have 20 different IMFD configuration files depending on which kind of flight you're doing.
Yeah, now from what I see, this one with adaptive on is slightly better, or or not.
I don't. It still seems to me like it's moving as fast as
Yeah.
it was before.
Anyway, we still have some time before the burn, so perhaps you can go to 400 seconds, make a slight adjustment there to go again deeper under the surface of the planet, and then we're going to burn that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was doing in one of my other flights. Since it was changing so quickly, I was just going forward 100 seconds at a time. And then, once you get to about 100 seconds away from the burn, you just kind of accept whatever you have.
Mhm. It will still change after we leave
Yeah.
the Venus, so there's no reason to worry about that.
Let me try. That's too much. Let's try
I
1
think it
second.
should be better with the yeah.
Yeah, taking away 1 more second. Let's try 2 more seconds. Yeah, there we go. Now we're back to the middle of the Earth again. Okay.
Okay, so let's burn that. I mean, I don't have to worry about readjusting this one, because we are going to need to use corrections.
And it's going to be basically prograde, so let's orient the vessel ourselves. That way the autopilot doesn't have to do that. And then once we get oriented, we'll kill rotate and get warp time forward the rest of the way and turn on auto burn.
Exactly.
Okay, there we are. And auto burning in just a couple seconds here.
You can also remove the plan if you want on the right side, so you can see the actual trajectory.
Yeah, it's like turning maneuver mode off for people that are familiar with transX. That's our burn, and we got 171 meters left. So for mid-course corrections, and we
So
don't.
that's pretty good, but it's a little bit tricky, the corrections back to Earth, because they are not getting a very good prediction.
Yeah,
But for now, all we have to do is time warp forward until we're completely outside of Venus's sphere of influence.
yeah, and there was no need to do any additional cleanup at the end of that burn. Sometimes you want to tap your translations one way or the other, but in this case, the prediction still said that we were right at the middle of the Earth, so it wouldn't do any good to try to fix that farther. And yeah, as we're leaving Venus, let's actually go back to. Let me bring up Orbit MFD real quick.
Yeah.
And reference the sun. Put that on the HUD.
Well, up to the point when you are completely outside of Venus's sphere of influence, the prediction isn't worth much. You can see jumping around all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's good that we show this one, because we also tried to do this in the previous video, but it didn't work for her.
Prediction was so good that.
Yeah, it was pretty stable. But with exactly the same setup on a different flight, and you can see the prediction jumping all around. So IMFD is not, always 100% accurate, and you need to know about these cases and also how to set up your burns to make your corrections.
Speaking of corrections, yeah, do we want to wait till the PEA is at its lowest?
Well, I can see it dropping, so there is no need to change anything right now.
Okay.
As you can see it oscillating. So what I do is I make a note of the lowest value, and then I make a note of the highest, and I follow that oscillation for a little bit. So the lowest was 2.9 m.
Yeah.
Now let's see how high it's going to get.
It's kind of topping out there at 108.7.
Oh wait, you can see it's a very big difference to gamble, because it will oscillate a little bit, and then you're going to go close enough to Earth and it will remain steady somewhere in there. But you have no idea where that point is going to be. Let's keep going. Let's see when it reaches a minimum again.
Okay, that time the minimum was about 15.
Yeah, let me write that down and let's go back out again.
What did we top out before? That topped out at 99.5.
So it was less than the previous, which was 108.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. It's narrowing down the gap. So let's watch another oscillation and see what's going on.
We're 68 days out.
68 days and it's dropping. Let's
35.
go all the way, and it's going up. Okay. Make a correction here. I would make a correction over here.
Okay.
Because we are close enough to Earth that it's going to start and to become stable in a little bit. and it's not going to cost that much this far out, because if it goes up and we wait until we're even closer to Earth, it's going to cost more. Right now, we can even probably even do it with linear translation.
Yeah. So just by bumping translation, let's try forward translation just from this orientation, which isn't exactly forward, but
Mhm.
okay, that's helping. And let's try up translation. That's not helping. Let's try down. Okay, so forward, down,
How about right and left?
and 1. So 6, 8, and 1 all help.
Okay. But it's using quite a bit of fuel for a slow, a relative slow correction, huh? I mean, we got from 39 to 30 and we used 2 kilograms of fuel.
Okay, yeah, let's set up a maneuver so that we can use main fuel.
Hmm.
And I believe to do that, we just turn the Delta V program on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in this side, we'll go to
Set the reference to the sun
reference to
right now.
sun, and it's already sourced to our vessel.
Yeah,
And,
and you can set the DVF forward. Now, on the right side, you want to see that plan over there.
yeah, turn that plan on.
And obviously, positive prograde that is preset at 10 does not help. It got us all the way to 41. So we're going to need negative.
Okay. Go to 10.
Okay, before you go to 10, try another one. Try other plane change or
Yeah,
to see which click makes the biggest difference.
right. Looks like actually plane change right now. Oh, maybe not. I thought I saw a big change there, but let's set that to 0. Okay. Inward is... It seems like inward and prograde, but they're both pretty minimal. So maybe we went forward a little too far.
Okay, we don't have any problem. I mean, we have plenty of delta V left.
Yeah.
So even if this correction costs about 10-20 meters per second, it doesn't really matter.
Boy, that prediction is all over the place.
Uh, Perhaps it would be better if you switched off from adaptive right now and go back
Yeah,
to the usual.
I forgot that that was on.
These are these are some parameters that you can play around with, but I'm sorry that there is no manual for this to tell you exactly what each thing does, and I don't know. I have used it for a long time, but I have one particular configuration that I'm using that I know that works, and I don't change it that much.
Yeah, it's much better
You're
with
out
it
of.
off.
Here's the problem. You're out of time for the correction. That's why you have all that jumping around. Set it to okay.
Yeah, I forgot
So you
about
have
that as
enough time.
well. I ran into that when I was doing the Mars to Earth flights to my test that spreadsheet I'm making, and I noticed that when you get down low on time, the predictions start jumping all over the place. So taking out a bit of delta V, but that's... So let's figure out what the low point is there. And I'm seeing 21.7, 21.5 as the lowest, but that's 15 delta V, so I'm just going to make a note of that. Negative 15, prograde 21.75. Let's kind of see if we can just beat that with different variables first.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's the wrong way.
It's still going up.
Yeah, it actually seems like it's going up either way. No, it is going down on this side,
But very,
but
and now it's going up, back up.
it's costing more.
So inward does not help.
Let me,
And how about plane change?
let me give myself a little bit more time. Okay, so now with just plane change, okay, we're 8, 9, 10. Now it's still going down.
Okay, I'd say plane change, positive plane change, and positive prograde.
Yeah. Actually, it was negative prograde.
Ah, sorry, negative. Now back again to a little bit of plane change. Oh, no. This is going pretty well.
A little bit more plane change. And
We'll go for the center of the planet again because we're still going to need correction.
so that's
Now,
23.
of course, this is a gamble. Sometimes this may work out for you, sometimes it may not. But I would go for about the surface of the planet this time and make another small correction later. After all, we only needed, what, 20 meters per second, 21. Even if we need twice that in the next correction, we're still going to have left over more than 100 meters per second.
Okay. So this is going to be just 21.8, and we'll burn it. Let's figure out where the burn vector's at.
Rotation.
Now rotate a little bit left and down.
Yep. I finally got the hang of this one. When we were first talking about it, I thought that X here, which is fixed, I thought that's where we were trying to get to the middle. I'm like, it's not moving.
Okay. Well, it's a little bit different from the TransX.
I like this one better because it's more intuitive. You can understand which way to rotate regardless of if it's behind you or in front of you. But the green axis is just not quite as easy to understand.
Well, now with Enzo's auto orient feature, I think it's a lot better than what it was.
Yeah, the auto center is really nice. Mainly for the
Okay,
fact that it holds the burns fixed.
Okay, on the right side, remember to remove the plan so you can see the actual trajectory.
Yep. Okay, it's got us basically down to the surface. If we want, we can maybe do a couple clicks of control thrust just to put it all the way at 0, basically, and
Okay. Now, as we get closer, it might go down or it might go up, and there's no way to predict that in this case. Okay, because in most other flights, the map program is pretty stable.
yeah. Well, we are
And you
at
will notice that as we get closer to Earth, we'll reach one point where the prediction is going to remain accurate.
okay, and we're over 30 minutes on this part of the video. Do we want to break it up into another part, or do you think we can finish the journey?
Oh, I think it's going to take another 5-10 minutes to finish the journey. It's not that much.
All right, let's go ahead and just finish it off then. And so let's warp time forward, and we're just going to watch the PEA and see what it's doing, basically, right?
Yeah. Well, we don't have a problem even if it goes for 2, 3, 4 million meters. Okay, we don't have any problem with that. So we can time warp and see what's going on.
So it tops out at...
Let's see if it drops back again.
Yeah, it's dropping back again.
Okay.
48 days out. Wow, that's really kind of erratic. Okay, now we're down to 1. It's still going down. It's getting pretty stable now, I feel. So now we can probably go forward to 0.1 Earths.
Yeah.
Let me bring that up on this side just to have it. So we'll bring up Orbit MFD on that side, reference Earth, and that way we can keep track. Oh, we're already there. So we're within the weak SOI of Earth, so we can probably set the PEA to basically our target.
67 kilometers and we're done. You can also reference the Earth if you want on the right side. On the map program, on the right side, you can reference the Earth if you want.
Okay, it's not already referenced?
It is targeted, but the reference the Sun. No.
Oh, I see. Okay, so let me put the Earth on the HUD as well.
Translate rotation.
Let's just rotate to prograde it for Earth. And you don't have to get prograde to Earth, but I just like to do that because it helps me understand if I'm doing an inward or an outward. Now, one thing to keep in mind too, when you arrive at your target planet, like we are here, when you put your PEA at the surface, make sure that make sure we know what our inclination is going to be. And according to Orbit MFD, our inclination is 42.76.
You can also check if IMFD agrees with that and target press target and press L here. And it switches over to the equatorial inclination, and you can see that the actual inclination is going to be closer to 40. But okay, the difference is small, and you know that the orbit MFD is not that accurate
Yeah,
this far out. So it's going to change slightly. The major thing that we need to change is the periapsis altitude. The rest we're going to arrive with lots of velocity at inside Earth's atmosphere. So no matter where the base is, we can land the Delta glider. If
yeah.
if it was some other spacecraft, could take steps to arrive aligned with the base that we want. But we're not going to do this in this flight. We've
Yeah,
already
and
done it.
just because we are running so low on RCS, I'm going to go ahead and rotate to 270 to do that little bit of inward burn that's necessary here to bring that PEA down. And we know we know that it's an inward burn because the relative inclination is prograde, and our PEA is positive, so we need to burn toward that 270 position. That'll bring the PEA down. And IMFD's predictions should be accurate enough now that we can set it just at the normal. Oops, I kind of overshot that a little bit, but that'll be okay.
Yeah, we're flying the Delta glider. You're not going to have any problem.
Yeah.
Besides, we're not going to
Yeah.
actually make the landing.
So let's just warp time
Just-
forward all the way over to Earth, see where we end up. And PA is actually trending downward a little bit, so if we want, we could come out of time warp just for a second.
Translation.
What you can do right now is to hit the mode button and also check the longitude and latitude of the periapsis
Okay, and then we can see where that is on Earth.
relative to the map. Yeah.
Okay,
So
and
175 west is almost 5 degrees to the right of the, all the way to the left on the map.
yeah, it's like here, isn't it?
The last line is 180, all the way to the edge.
Okay, so 175
that's
is
180.
just right
So
there.
just 5 degrees side of that, and 40 south. So that's 1 square and then another 10 degrees south.
Yeah.
So we're about right there. We're a little bit. So we're aiming right there. So it's not that far from Cape Canaveral. We can probably orient, do a little bit of plane change inside the atmosphere and orient the vessel to go directly to Cape Canaveral. But anyway, we're not going to do that in this flight.
Yeah.
But this is good to know. You know exactly the coordinates of the periapsis altitude.
Yep, and here we are, home sweet home, challenge complete. Well, the difficulty, the figuring out part is complete. So, and we have a total delta V left of 135, and we probably wouldn't use any of that except for just a little bit of rotation as we get down to Earth. And we have 18 days left, so that's all good. Let me turn our cameras back on. And I guess that's going to be it for this video. Any thoughts on what we want to do going in the next one?
Well, I do have a challenge in the works, but it is extremely difficult, even for me.
Yeah, we talked about that.
To set it up. It's about making a journey to Jupiter and getting close to as many moons as possible.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Usually when I set up a challenge, it takes me about 1 month from the time I think about it and the time I am finished with the script to load it on Orbiter Forum. And that's because it's not just making the script, I'm also testing the challenge in every possible way to see if it can be done.
Yeah.
Because we have seen some challenges where the person that posted hasn't thought it through or hasn't tried it enough, and it's either too easy or it can't be done. So I always test my own challenges, and then I also make a Lua script, so it's a little bit. It gives you a score, it gives you some information, it keeps the interest a little bit higher.
Yeah, one of these days I want to finish up that XR2 rescue challenge. I was thinking about that again the other day. And one of the problems I ran into with that one when we were working on it back in March or May or whatever it was, that I flew the flight so many times that I just got sick of it. And I'm like,
Yeah, that happens a lot when you're making challenges
yeah,
because you're trying to solve it with all possible ways it can be solved, and then at some point you get so sick of it that you don't want to look at it. And it has happened to me too. I mean, I have so many scenarios and challenges just left on the side, and then I pick them up whenever I feel I can look at them again.
yeah. All right, well, I appreciate everybody who tuned into this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it and learned something about IMFD and TransX, how one tool can be better in some cases and another can be better in other cases. I think in another video we might do like a moon to Mars where you drop back to Earth. I've kind of already done that myself on my own, but I think maybe if we do it together, we might be able to get a better explanation. So who knows? We'll see what we do going forward. But thanks for watching, and leave some comments down below thanking Dimitri for his help. Check the links in the description. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video.